Oh boy. Oh boy, am I gonna rant today. I'm waiting for a few people to get in here. I don't even know what to say right now. I bought that new laptop. Picked it up like Memorial Day weekend. The USB port went out like 2.5 weeks later. I wait till Best Buy has their open doors. And I go in the first day that they can have people back in the store. And I take it in, and of course, when I exchange it, they don't have one in stock. I knew this because they had to order the other one and ship it to me. So I had to wait for that. I don't know why it takes so much longer to ship it to the damn store than it does to my house. I don't, seriously, put the label on it. It's going to the same city. Ship it to the freaking store and I'll pick it up there. What they sent, I have this huge pile of packages on my bed, okay, of things that have arrived while I have been gone. And this is what I get. So my friend, I sent him the tracking number for this computer so he could keep an eye on it. He watches my house and takes care of my crib for me while I'm gone, and my cats. Takes care of my car. Good friend, man. Him and his wife are awesome. And he gets right over here, and there's 3 other packages that are stacked up with it. And none of them are fucked with. None of them are open, tampered. And I've never, ever, I have lived here since last April. Never had a problem. If a box has been damaged in shipment and the seal was broken, they would actually knock on my door and tell me, hey, is everything okay with the package before I leave it? So I think because this one was stacked in with other packages, the actual weight of the box wasn't recognized. I don't think the driver did it. But there's no tape on the box. None. This box has never been taped, so it's been shipped to where you can just pop it open like this and the laptop. Are you freaking kidding me right now? Yeah. See, I thought it was Best Buy, and I got UPS tracking, but it's got a FedEx label. So I'm going to be on the phone tomorrow ranting. I'm going to try to keep the curse words to a minimum today. I'm tired, I'm cranky, and I came home to this when I really wanted to work with my laptop. Thank you, Dell, for fucking that up. Appreciate that. Thank you for the added hassle of the already broken USB port. Now I have an imaginary computer. I'm sure as soon as I call, they will render it useless, but I don't want to be taken forever to be compensated for this. This is ridiculous. I don't even know if UPS did this. This could have just been a factory screw up, but how the hell do you ship a laptop with not even a stitch of seal on it? No tape, no freaking nothing. And I knew it because I knew how I picked up the box from Best Buy. I knew what to expect when I brought it home. I remember unpacking it. This is exactly how it was. There was no tape, and I knew how I was going to find it. And I'm disgusted. I don't know who to be disgusted with, but Dell, you better fix this shit. I've always bought Dell products. Always. My desktop's a Dell. My last laptop is a Dell. I've always loved their products. My mother had Hewlett-Packards all the time, and they were constantly eating through hard drives and losing everything. So I'm not for that. So my work laptop is a Dell, and so far 3. Yeah, see, I normally don't have any problems with Dell. That's why I chose them. That's why I chose a freaking Dell. Seriously now. Come on. It's unseen at Medscape about blood types and COVID risk links. Yeah, we've read about that about a month ago. It's on all these cats are just great. It's on MedCram. There were some indications that type O blood is less likely to get this or as severe symptoms than A and B. There is some literature out there that does warrant more investigation. But it's on the MedCram. It's under the COVID modules, and they're free. Doctor does a really good job of describing everything. But oh no, not working. It just didn't appear, Tracy. It just wasn't in the goddamn box. My friend picked it up, and then I get this message. I'm not gonna say who it's from, but it pissed me off because my friend who watches my house is black. He's one of the greatest friends in the world, and does everything for me and these asshole cats when I'm gone. And he's black, and I get this message when I get off the plane in El Paso, and I'm reading it, and it says, "Was the UPS driver black? They probably took it. They have no laws." And I'm like, what the hell? Enough. I'm like, damn, what if I tell this guy that my friend is black? Is he going to accuse my friend of stealing it? Because, like, that thought never even crossed my goddamn mind. It was more like, I know what happened from the factory because I know how I picked up the box. And I bet you it had no... I even posted before I seen the box that it had no tape on it. I hadn't even seen the box yet. I knew how it was shipped. So that just, I was having a great day. I get off that dinky ass plane. I am so happy I'm driving back and forth from Laredo, to and from Laredo from now on, because I love driving. Michael hated me driving across the country, so I like doing it even more. But I love my Flex. It's got 335,000 miles on it. I bought that car with 63,000 miles. We have been some places together across this country. She's part of me. And the plane is so damn small. I mean, it's really small. And it's not that everybody's wearing a mask. Everybody's cool with that. They won't even let you in the airport without a mask. It's all, even though the governor is not requiring it, it's up to the business owners, and the business owners should be pressured to encourage it and require it, or don't come in. Because I had seen some posts today that pissed me the hell off from people who I thought were decent, rational, happy human beings who cared about others, and she got mad because she went into a Dollar Tree or Dollar General and they wouldn't let her in without a mask, so she wasn't taking her business there anymore. Are you freaking kidding me right now? Would you go to would you not go inside a hospital? And I had posed this because you don't want to wear a mask. Really? That's the logic that you're using. Because I have to wear a mask, I'm not going to go in there. Good. Don't. And I'll go to that business. But I got pissed, and she's like, "You're being kind of a bitch," and I don't like it. I'm like, "You're being kind of careless." And I don't really like that you're not giving a crap about the other people in your environment around you. Plus, you work at a school with children. So I really have to question your judgment on that statement. I'm not looking for a fight. Well, yeah, you are if you post something like that. You already know it's an inflammatory statement. And you have friends who work in the healthcare field. And you know that we're going to say something about that. Jesus Christ, people are starting up again. Shut up. Wear the freaking mask. No, I'm in Texas. I work in Laredo and I live in El Paso. I fly back and forth on my days off. I do 7 days on, 7 days off. So when I do, I'm crawling into bed. I am exhausted from having sleep interrupted all day. But I have to move all these packages that didn't arrive damaged first. But holy crap, I mean, and we have people who work in healthcare like this. Z-Dog really went off on the anti-vaxxers with that Aaron lady. Dude, she was involved with CPS intervening in a case where a child had treatable leukemia, and she encouraged the parents not to give him chemo, and he has a high chance of survival if he does. And this woman had all these like crazy Facebook posts. I mean, Z-Dog really went back and looked. And this woman is all for making a name for herself. Oh my God. The things she is saying they're so inappropriate for healthcare. I can't believe they have medical licenses because it's against science. if you don't believe in science, then you really don't believe in the act of medicine, because medicine is all science. If you're going to be promoting a holistic lifestyle, then that's what you need to be advertising, not working, and she had never even worked in an ICU. She had to be shown how to suction an endotracheal tube. I teach it all the time. But, God, people, the stuff that just comes out of these, I get sent so many from so many people. It's just like, oh my God, yep, here we go. But the good news, here's the thing about the steroid, and I shared the video earlier. This dexamethasone, we've been giving it in some patients. Some doctors choose to use it. It is not a miracle drug, okay? It's not. I get, everybody's like, here we go with the rage. It's just like the hydroxychloroquine fucking rage. It's not a miracle drug, and we can't give it to everybody. There are many, many instances where we can't give a patient a steroid. Okay, in some patients, we need the immune system to work, and steroids suppress the immune system. Sometimes there's other things going on where they're contraindicated. So we can't give it to everybody. It also causes fluid retention. I don't want you retaining fluid while you're on my ventilator with this. This leads to bad things happening, bad outcomes. So I don't want it. Also can alter blood sugar levels. So there are a lot of instances where we have to be very cautious on giving those medications, but you don't hear that along with these findings, okay? They didn't tell you, the details of exclusion, who was included, what the criteria were. You really have, you're going to have to go find that. And when I wake up, maybe I'll do that. I'll put that on the list of a million things I have to do, next to probably spend 12 hours on a phone tomorrow chasing down a freaking laptop. I hope whoever stole that turned it on and activated it before the delivery drop-off. So it proves that I didn't have the shit in my hands and just make my life easy. But whoever it is going to get the blue screen of death. Oh God, am I livid over this? I really needed that freaking laptop. So the steroid, yes, it's great news in the patients that we can give it to. It did show a better chance of mortality if given for like 10 days. And it was at half the dose of what Solumendrol would be by body weight. And we don't know the perfect dose, just like with the hydroxychloroquine and the study that they're trying to do. They're trying to figure that out. We need time. We need freaking time. This was just that says, hey, this warrants more investigation. This warrants more investigation. This is how we do science. We form hypotheses and we test them. Okay, we have to do that. It takes time. We have to science the crap out of it, but it takes time. People need to calm down. We have the Texas governor saying that, oh, our hospitals have plenty of open beds and blah, blah, blah. No, we don't. We really have to alter the entire operation of the hospital once again and bring in more staff who are really exhausted to accommodate that. So, no, we have to, section off units and protect the rest of the hospital. We have to formulate a plan. We need time. Having an influx of patients all at once, like I had another new vent patient, and then another one 24 hours later. And then we had a bunch of new admissions who weren't on a ventilator, but I just deal with the critical care part because that's what I do. But yeah, we are spiking, and Texas is very, very large, and we only have so many large cities that have multiple hospitals capable of handling an influx of patients. And so no, it's not easy for the family 4 hours out of a major city. That's a hell of an ambulance ride. The county hospital, there is not one. There's not one. They airlift them. They airlift them into us when they're very severe like that. There isn't one. And those are life or death situations, and that's not okay for the governor to get up there and say that. I got a problem with that. He was doing really good here in Texas. I mean, he was very proactive, sending help when the cities needed it, but ever since this reopening, attitudes changed. This is why I have issues with politics, man. I was behind him with the decisions that he was making, and now I have the entire country. But Michigan, y'all who bitched about Michigan, you know, me bitching at you about the Michigan militia on the frickin' steps of the Capitol, and then somebody had enough nerve to comment to that video recently. How about the rioters and looters? I'm like, I think I said that if this was a black person involved, that the Michigan militia wouldn't be out talking, and I haven't heard a freaking peep. I've tried to Google stuff on what they think about it, and I really haven't found anything. So if you all find something, please share it. But I told you if it was a colored person that those folks wouldn't be freaking out there protesting, and I was right. I haven't seen them in the news at all. I haven't seen any crazy shit in the news at all because people found something else to do all of a sudden. And what kills me is these people who are keyboard warriors are the ones who won't go out and do shit to help anybody in the community. I'm so tired of it. Trying to read here. I love my 20-hour drive. It's just peaceful, and I love my car. It's shaped to my body. I love the stereo. I do not know what they put in those Ford Flexes, but it's very, very nice. My stepson, I used to blow my eardrums out when I got in my car after he drove it. Dell, your service has really gone downhill in the last 2 years. I will be making a please, because I posted pictures and they didn't even show up on the page, I don't think. I went to visitor posts, but there's nothing but stuff from Dell, so it's like they've blocked visitor posts. Don't think I ain't blowing up Twitter here in a little bit. I hate Twitter. So does Z-Dog. Twitter sucks. Twitter freaking sucks, but if I want to bitch about something and have it heard, the Twitter mob who love to attack people and companies, and that's what they do for a living, they'll catch hold of it. But dude, there's no tape on the box. Like, it came from Arizona. How? I don't understand. Why do I not have a laptop that I desperately need? I just, my desktop just doesn't have the processing speed. It's like the damn other laptop I had. No, I'm picking up my son in July. I'll be up in Michigan on July 20th. Oh, you motherfuckers need science. That's right. That's right. I slept on the plane, Kimberly, on and off. You know, I used to be terrified of flying. I had a very negative experience when I was 7, and I never wanted to fly again. And I had to fly down to Nashville when my daughter got diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis. And I was up in Michigan. And then when I got with my husband, he hated me driving across the country. He was always paranoid that my car was going to break down. This car runs like the day I bought it. I try to keep up with the preventative maintenance and the brakes and tires and everything else that it needs, and I'm going to try to push that motor to 500,000. It's all highway miles. I love that Ford Flex. I'm going to find another one just like it, maybe a few years newer. It's just the plain Jane model, no turbo, and that seems to be the problem with the Flexes. Like anything, you know, if you get stuff like that, it's going to break down sooner. So like 150,000, the turbo, and the PTO unit, and the front wheel drives or the all wheel drives. And I have no, it's the all wheel drives that have the problem. And I just have the plain front wheel drive, and it gets around in the snow just fine in Michigan. It would slide off like any other vehicle would of that size. So it's a great car. It's huge inside. You can lay down the front seat and put a freaking ladder in the back. It's awesome car. When it's raining and you don't want to put up a tent, you can just blow up your twin size air mattress and throw it in the back and camp in the car. I've done that a few times. Yeah, I didn't listen to the conference. I had read snippets of it because I was trying to fly, and I need to sleep. I have to call this guy tomorrow out in New Hampshire. I shared his video, and Melissa wants me to reach out to him, but his post story COVID and what he's dealing right now is actually pretty scary. And I want to talk to him before I share more because I'm very interested. And Dr. Schwelt, he does the live video on Sundays. So I think I'm going to write down some questions I have and do the live video chat and see what he has to say about some of these things, because to have lasting cardiovascular issues, increased risk of stroke after COVID, it's very scary. Oh yeah, you survived and got over it, but at what cost? This is pretty bad, man. People don't realize what's going to happen in a very short period of time with their health if they're not careful. Even if they are careful, because in some of these or in a lot of these patients that they're doing autopsies on, they are finding clots everywhere, just huge clots. And there are some that are on the anticoagulant therapy to keep the blood from clotting. They're on blood thinners to help keep the blood from clotting. They're on everything, and nothing's working, folks. There's no magic drug. It might help, but it's not a magic drug, and it needs to quit being looked at like that. It warrants more investigation. We have to investigate, the dosage and how long, we have to figure that out, and it takes time because we have to keep testing and we have to keep waiting for results. If we push testing too quickly, we have learned that errors happen. So we have a bunch of false positives and false negatives. So you get what you ask for. If you want quality work, then you need to allow time. Crafts like that don't happen overnight. They take time. It's not an instantaneous thing. If you have a talent for something, it takes time, because you want to take good care of it. You want to make sure that you solve the problem. Folks, we need time. These are great ideas. The vaccine, yeah, it might not prevent coronavirus, but it keeps you from getting sick. So that still means you can pass it to others. I shared the video of the vaccine page and attached it in RT Says What for the 38 clinical trials going on for these vaccines. That's how many are being tested to see which one is most effective. Or do we need two? Once again, these things take time. You cannot expect quality work overnight. You just can't. You get what you ask for. Quit throwing adult temper tantrums about everything, man. I swear to God, we are just so spoiled. Yes, well, I don't really have much of a beautiful country. I drive all across I-10 till I get to Fort Stockton, and then I go all along the Rio Grande. And I can't see the Rio Grande. I'd love to see the Rio Grande over there, because over here it's a creek. And I'm like, this is what I learned in the social studies book in school. I actually laughed, but when it rains, it does flood. I have seen it up in the New Mexico border area, very swollen. But we get a lot of immigrants that hide in the drain systems here because we don't have sewage systems like we do in Michigan, where there's grates on every corner and the water drains down. It's kind of on an angle, and there's pipes that run off the highway. It's like a PVC that runs through the brick as a drain and just kind of drains out onto the road. And then it runs into these canals. It's all just kind of directed like that, and because it's the desert, we don't get a lot of rain. And when we do, it floods. So there's a lot of immigrants that hide in these things and they die, or they just did a water rescue. There's a lot of water rescues. My first time working in the ER, there was a drowning coming into the emergency room, and I ran down there, and I'm like, what happened? Was it a pool? because I knew, we don't have lakes, and in Michigan I treated a lot of drowning victims because of lakes. We have tons of lakes, lots of opportunity there. It's not here. But they looked at me and they didn't want to say it, but it finally had clicked, and I'm like, oh. And yeah, so that image on People magazine is accurate. People are dying like that to get over here. So it is heartbreaking. In the one hospital I was at, the Border Patrol, there was a lot of Border Patrol agents sitting outside the rooms. And they do bring the kids in. They do bring the families in for care. They're not ignoring their health. I hate when they portray the Border Patrol like that, because they are doing the best they can. Oh, I will. I'm going to sleep. I don't sleep for long because of the pain, so it doesn't matter how long. Yes, I miss the mountains. I have a big rocky mountain that's very red behind me. So I do have a mountain. I do have a couple mountains here. I'm at the base of the Rocky Mountains. Now, I would love to be on those mountains. That's my preference. At least there's some greenery. But Laredo's got a lot of greenery, and Laredo's been really awesome. But like I said, we are starting to see an uptick on cases. I lost the guy that graduated out of my ICU the other night. He passed away up in the ICU the other night. I have a husband and wife in the ICU, and the wife is on the ventilator. It's sad because it is affecting the whole family, folks. You really need to self-isolate. Don't give this to your family members, please. Respect them enough to, at least if you're sick, stay away. Stay away. Don't put your family at risk. Don't be stubborn. Masks aren't fashion statements. As soon as I figure out the sublimation, I can actually sublimate onto the face masks, and I can make pictures. So if you really want to make it a fashion statement, I can just take your face and put a picture on it, and you'll look the same with the mask on. Put it on. Quit being stupid. I'm not going into a business if they require a mask. Oh, give me a freaking break. Grow up. I wear two. I wear the N95, and then I wear a surgical mask over it. There are people at work wearing the painter's masks for 12 hours a day. They don't even take them off except for to take a drink. I take my stuff off when I go into the other room, when I'm not in direct contact with the unit. And when I'm eating, I don't wear it there. I don't wear it 20. These people in those respirators, they have the double-sided tape on it because their noses are getting breakdown. And we see that with BiPAP patients. We have to put a protection on the bridge of the nose. So what I'm reading, I shared that girl's lungs. And that's another thing. EVALI, which is the lung vaping injuries, those are different than popcorn lung. I know the gentleman didn't mean to imply that, oh, look, it's similar like a conspiracy. He was just making a point about something, and I jumped on him, but I didn't want people misunderstanding. Each of those conditions have a distinct pattern. So we're able to recognize that. With COVID, we started seeing a distinct pattern of equal pneumonia, and we don't see that with pneumonia. Pneumonia usually affects lobes in certain areas and not the entire lung, like equally distributed. That's odd. And we started to see that. So it is so important to get treated early. If you are having difficulties, please get in, because a lot of these therapies that they're trying, like the remdesivir and the convalescent plasma is still enrolled in a clinical trial. So it's going to be based off your hospital and their agreement with the blood bank, and it's through the Mayo Clinic. We don't even know if it works. That's what these people that we're treating are part of a study. So they are an active part of a study. They are tracking them, and they've agreed to allow their health information to be used appropriately to investigate this. So we need time to analyze data. Okay, it doesn't happen overnight. We have to look for patterns, and there's Ellie. She's getting into the boxes. Um, so all these things take time. All of it. And the earlier you get help, the better off you are, because this turns south very, very quickly. Very, very quickly. And the sooner that we can intervene with other things, because what they're doing is a lot of places, and I know Laredo, I see a trend with them as well, with the zinc and the vitamin C and the vitamin D. It's not going to hurt, and that's the thing. It's not something that's going to harm. So if anything, if it does help, there's a possibility we're going to give it, because there's no real side effects. And the acetylcysteine, those are all things that have very minimal negative side effects that are not going to harm the patient. So we are going to try those things. Our doctors are doing pretty damn good. What we are seeing is a rise in cases, but we are also seeing a rise in hospitalizations, but we are seeing a decrease in overall death, which could be due to a number of things. We have to analyze the data. We have to science the crap out of it. But it could be due to, we're providing different care. We've changed our approach since the beginning, and it's working. People are becoming resistant. There's a lot of options. What we also don't know is when people get reinfected, if it's a resurgence of the virus, a flare, if it hangs around for a while, is it what's triggering this? What's going on? We don't know the answer to that either. So we have to look for that, and it takes time. So these are all things that this is perspective that we need to look at here. There is no miracle. We have to look at all these clinical pictures and put the pieces of the puzzle together. Today, let's see, my cousin is one of those people not going into business if they require masks. They don't have insurance and it's not worth it. It is so not worth it. I drive through. Let's see, my cousin is one of those people not going. Yeah, okay. Today, our governor did a speech. What was really scary is the hate comments towards her and their ignorant stupidity. They don't want to wear masks. The COVID virus is a joke. Oh, damn it. Etc. Attitudes like that could bring on a second wave real soon. I just wish people. I know. I mean, I don't know how else to tell people to just be responsible. Just wear the freaking mask. Stay distant. I had a message from a gentleman who's got some health issues and he's concerned about, what are you guys doing? Going to the gym. You guys. Worf's over there like, I don't know what's going on. There was like no distancing at the gym. It was just like business as usual. He was like, oh my God. I'm like, oh my God is right. I've seen images of gyms like that gentleman out in New Jersey who was doing his civil disobedience and protesting peacefully and reopening his shop in a very cleanly and hygienic manner against the governor's wishes. So they sent the state police in who didn't want to do anything because they knew it was wrong. Those people were very clean. They were considerate. They were looking out for the health and safety and well-being of others in their community, as they well should. And I'd consider a gym a health environment. Would you quit with the whiskers? And these places are doing nothing. They're requiring nothing. Just because a place does not require a mask doesn't mean you don't freaking wear it. I mean, be considerate. You can walk around asymptomatic. They retracted the statement made by the WHO that asymptomatic people aren't as contagious as they thought, which is BS. And the guy misspoke. He was misunderstood. They retracted it. They corrected it. But people still fixated on the wrong statement. And this is what happens on the interwebs. People just run off with your words and make up things that you didn't say. And I mean, the hospital that I'm at, one asymptomatic patient is what started this whole tragic event for the hospital employees getting sick. And not only are they getting sick, they took it home to their families. And I have some of those family members in the ICU. Some of them are in the hospital. There's some that are dead. Some that are on a ventilator for the rest of their life. So this is, I mean, in one hospital. And this is not done yet. So in this little tiny hospital, This is what happened to them. I mean, they are scared, and it's understandable. A lot of these folks want nothing to do with working with this virus, and that's what we're here for. That's all I work with. And I have some great coworkers in that unit. They are fantastic. We're very protected. We have everything we need. I find it very safe. They've, every room has the negative pressure ventilation. They have done awesome in response to COVID and the outbreak in the hospital. They nipped it in the bud in the beginning. I feel safe. I obviously have been working in the freaking face of COVID for a few months, and I haven't managed to get it yet. So I think the precautions that I'm taking are pretty minimal. I wear my mask. I wear my gown. I don't really think I need to change my clothes, but it's convenient that they provide the scrubs and I don't have to wash clothes. All my stuff goes in the laundry basket anyway, and I boil the hell out of it when I wash it. So it's not really on the clothes. It's inhaling droplets, but and touching them to your mouth and like putting them in there, like E. coli happens. So, I mean, there's so much misinformation, miscommunication, misunderstanding of what the information is that's out there. It sounds so good to read the article, but they don't give you the whole picture. We can't give steroids to every single patient. There are some patients where it's not indicated, and I did share the videos today. Please go back and watch them. They're short, very informative, very easy to understand. Dr. Schwelt really did like a Q&A of what to talk to a hospital about if your loved one winds up with COVID, and it's very, very, very good. I suggest you take 20 minutes of not watching bullshit on YouTube and pay attention to something that helps you out, because he's really good. Yeah, I don't understand it either. I'm definitely taking a break because this wears on a person. It's going to take me about a day and a half to catch up. I know pink eye can be a symptom. It's not actually pink eye. It's a viral infection that causes inflammation like pink eye, and that's one of the things that they started seeing. Yes. What about a sty? Can that be a symptom? I don't know. I just know that by putting your fingers in your eyes and the virus getting there, it does cause inflammation and irritation. The doctors were diagnosing it as pink eye and it wasn't healing. So they realized that it wasn't pink eye. I read an ophthalmology paper on it. I don't share everything, but I do read a lot. If I shared everything, y'all be like, wish she'd stop. I'm sure you already feel that way. But that's the things we need to pay attention to right now. So yes, it's exciting news. It's worth investigating. We'll see what happens. Everybody chill. Don't run out and get COVID, because we don't have the staff and the PPE built up to deal with this. We really don't. We're still trying to recover from the first bit. It's still very restricted. Some places don't have the PPE to give. I don't know if they're too cheap to pay for it. 3M says they haven't raised their prices. A lot of these companies haven't raised their prices in the response to the demand. They've tried to keep it fair. So I don't know why we're not buying PPE. We need to answer those questions. You want to protest for something? Protest for fucking PPE. I swear to God. That man, like, listening to that attorney, I have to finish the YouTube video after I get up, but listening to I've gotten through the first 17 minutes of the interview, and he's scared. He was scared. He's still scared. I have to call him tomorrow, but I'm just too tired today from all this flying, and it really screws with my sinus cavities in my head, and then my ears hurt for days, and I'm just happy I'm driving. But God, folks, it's great information, but always keep in perspective the whole picture that surrounds using those things. Just like remdesivir, if you have impaired kidney function, we can't give you that drug. We can't. So you're thinking that you can just go get these drugs, and if you have certain conditions, we can't give it to you. So that drug that you wanted, that you thought was going to save your life, you can't even touch because it'll kill you. That's why you need to let us do our jobs. If there was this much of an easy answer, trust me, we wouldn't want you in our hospital. We would want you to be home with your family recovering. But this virus has lifelong effects on people. What it does to those lungs, it damages a lot of tissue and it turns it like into scar tissue. People are getting pulmonary fibrosis. That decreases, your lungs get very stiff. Your lungs are elastic, that's why your chest expands. So they have an elasticity to them. And when you have this lung damage, you lose that elasticity, so they're stiff. And your chest isn't going to rise so much, and it's going to get harder and harder to breathe. So you're slowly going to suffocate anyway. And that's not okay. Is that how you want to live the rest of your life? And these are things that, we try to imply to people, but due to cultural differences and believing for the need for everything possible to be done, CPR does not, in hospital CPR, let me explain something. It is a last resort. That means we have done everything medically, test-wise. We have done everything that we have possibly could to save your life. Breaking your ribs doing chest compressions generally is not, I make an exception for cardiac arrest. That's about the only thing. But if you are coding because of respiratory failure and all these other things in the ICU, the CPR is not going to save you. It is the outcome in hospital of CPR, because of the extent of what we have already done, not working, chest compressions and cracking your rib cage, bouncing on your chest and pumping you full of epinephrine, are not, if that was the answer, we would do it in the beginning and save you the hassle of all the other trauma. There's a misconception about CPR. It is great, especially in witnessed cardiac arrests. It has a high outcome in certain situations outside of the hospital. But once it's in the hospital, I'm sorry, being a full code is not, you let me go. If it comes to that and you can't help me medically and you have done everything else, I don't want the quality of life of possibly being a ventilator dependent person, unable to move my body. That's not the quality of life I would want to have. So you need to discuss your DNR status and have a living will with your family. So if you don't want those things, you have a voice, because a lot of times families react off of emotion during these time periods, and there's a fight. And in the meantime, somebody's in the hospital suffering on a ventilator who is pretty much either brain dead or, there's no quality of life, and they're going to wind up in a bed getting bed sores because it's all great in the beginning. People want to help and take care, but when they realize how much care is involved, and it's like having a child all over again, only they're bigger and it's harder and you need to be stronger. And it wears on a person, and then that person who's injured suffers further, so they have more medical problems because they're being neglected. So really, is that we really need to be honest with ourselves about that. I hate to put it that way, it sounds cold, cruel, and callous, but when you witness what we do, you wish sometimes that patients would have had something in writing so that this wouldn't have been what they got put through, only to know that they're going to have a very poor prognosis. Please do that. It has to be notarized. It has to be turned in. File it with your doctor. File it with your local hospital so it's on file. That's all they ask, but you have to get it notarized. So please do that. I can't promote a living will enough. Please be safe and wear the freaking mask, for crying out loud. I don't want to hear. If you are not out and around people, fine, cool. But if you are going to be within, an area of people who are mingling and doing shit, I shared the article. These ladies went out to dinner post reopening and went to this restaurant, some Irish restaurant, and they infected themselves and the waitress and other staff, and they wish they wouldn't have done it. They wish they would have just wore their mask and listened. I mean, seriously, what more did you need to be told? Why would seriously, you really need to look at your priorities in life. If that is your outlook, you know, and you're gonna regret your decisions. Like, learn, educate yourself, and make good decisions, but don't make the decision to go out and infect somebody else because you want to be an asshole and it doesn't look good. Wear your damn mask. People, it's not just a recovery. It's not just something easy to get over. People are suffering for a few months afterwards, and then they have rehab. It's taking people 2 months to test negative in order to go to rehab. Do you want to know how emaciated the body looks after 2 months on a ventilator, unable to walk? It's like coming back from outer space and having to rebuild up all that muscle strength. So, seriously, this is, of the ones that wind up on the ventilator, even though we're doing better on the number of deaths, we don't know why, and we need to investigate it, but we need to figure out what it is that we're doing that's helping. Because we do have across the board, except for places like Michigan, where your Nazi governor that I got chewed out for defending gave you guys tight restrictions. She did it for a reason. This is it. And now look at the Michigan numbers compared to the rest of the country. But you all want to bitch and complain. But then when you see results, you all can't wait for you have to have immediate results. Instant gratification, demanding things right now. No. Things take time, and you need to respect that. I can't deal with the social media. The only reason I was on it was because I was sitting at the airport today, and I was doing research, watching COVID videos. I'm sure people were tired of listening to me. I forgot my headphones. And it's the first damn airport that I've been at that TSA closes for a while. This place is tiny, like really tiny, and so was the damn plane. It was highly uncomfortable. There was like one seat on the one side of the aisle, and then 2 seats on the other side, and we were all like this little dinky roller coaster. And then my seat wouldn't go back, so my back was killing me. I was not happy. And it's the same route, so I always know what plane it is, so I'm just gonna drive. And I was scrolling through today seeing all this, but I'm tired of the racism. If the whole movement was Black Lives Matter too, then they should maybe put that in the name. They should maybe behave that way. I'm tired of seeing everybody up in arms because of the color of the skin and toppling statues. That's bullshit. It's like I shared about that Malcolm X statue. Malcolm X wanted a black America inside of America. And he wanted blacks to resist whites at all costs. He was not a fan. Come here. So, should we topple his statues and burn... What are you doing hitting me? Topple his statue, burn the school that's named after him. I mean, that's the logic that we're using here. That's not okay. I'm sorry. I will stand up against that. I've stood up against it from the beginning. Quit knocking down the statues. They're there for historical reasoning. It tells the story. Somebody's got to tell the story, or it's going to be forgotten. That's why the Native Americans passed down the story. They have certain traditions and stories, and they pass them down so they are not forgotten. They have ways of memorializing things that we really need to pay attention to. I can't wait to get to know some of my new Native American friends and their culture better. I'm really excited about going out there once all this calms down and meeting people. I've got a lot of people messaging from Navajo Nation, and thank you guys. And I hope with this, a federal judge ordered the Trump administration to pay the tribes the stimulus money that has been withheld for, well, since the CARES Act was signed. They haven't gotten any help, and they've been out there with nothing. And there's a Facebook group that I'm involved in for the Navajo Nation, but it's everybody volunteering help. They're trying to coordinate efforts and get out to houses and do everything that they can to help those folks. So that's the America I fucking live in. That's the people I want to be around. That's my tribe. Doesn't matter what color my skin is, doesn't matter what color their skin is. You treat people and help people and work together. It doesn't matter. And that's my damn point. This has turned into a nightmare. People are being provoked. More black people are being discriminated against because now white folks are pissed. I mean, stop! Don't allow this shit to happen. Ozzy Osbourne said it, man. The media sells it, you live the role. Knock it off. Don't live it. You need to start doing research. Oh, I will rest. Yeah, Houston, I was reading that a lot of these hospitals are at 66 to 77% capacity right now. A lot of the travel nurses just ended their contract and they didn't renew them because we were slowing down. Bad move, because guess what happened? Now we're pulling nurses from the floor to help out in the unit that we condensed, which is probably going to have to reopen if things keep escalating. The lungs get very stiff very easily, very, very quickly, very early on when I get them on the vent. I mean, their compliance is very low. And the one lady that I got, she had over 90% involvement of her lungs. She didn't want to be intubated. Her mother passed away during a traumatic intubation, which they're from Mexico, and I can imagine that the person doing it probably didn't know what they were doing very well. But she ultimately decided to be intubated. It's sad. So she came over from Mexico, so that was a Mexican citizen who came over to get medical care in America, because their system over there is pretty sad. If you have state insurance, you're pretty much tossed in a corner and like left to die. You're nothing. And you know, it's money talks, cash money. This is how much it's going to be. And in some cases, the care is good. You just have to talk to people. I talked to a girl today who has a really good pediatrician over there. That's where she takes her kids. So it really all depends on the doctor. But overall, if you're going over there for those particular reasons and to be cheap about it, you get what you pay for. Just like you get what you ask for. But she was smart enough to come over here and get care, and they're doing everything. I think she's getting the plasma, and hopefully she's a fairly healthy woman, so hopefully she has a good outcome. I don't know who the new patient was, but I think it was a 40-year-old male, if I wasn't mistaken. No, it's not porch thieves. Like, Sandy, the box wasn't even ever taped. There's no seal on this box. None. It just pops open. It could have opened anywhere. It was an 11-pound freaking laptop. Of course the lid's going to pop open in shipment. It's not taped. All these boxes back here, there's like 10 of them on my bed. Have all my expensive ass Cricut machine. All made it here, and there was 3 other packages on the porch with it stacked up. So the UPS man just scanned it, grabbed it, and left it on the porch. I don't think he stole it. Either it came out in the factory or never got put in there, or I don't know. But Dell is going to take care of this as far as I'm concerned. I don't think somebody stole it. I think it fell out. The laptop is 11 pounds. It's heavy. So it would have definitely popped that lid open in shipment. And yes, oral history can be just as good as written. And it also creates a bond between the elders and the young folks. We're missing that in these current generations. We don't listen to elders. We're not taught to respect them anymore. I hear elders talk like shit. People that you should have some respect for what they've been through, and I'm just like, oh my God, I was not raised that way. So you form that bond with those people, and we don't have those family bonds within the home anymore, and that's part of the problem. Like I said, it needs to start changing in the family unit. Doesn't matter if you're black or white, you all raise little assholes together, collectively. It just depends on the population that you're living near, but that age group just has not sat down for the majority. I have some friends who they have awesome kids. My friend Charity in Arizona, her son is so freaking polite, man. I just adore the hell out of him. He is just the most polite young man. When we were in their house for a club event, we had crashed there, and he was just awesome. And I have some friends with just some really great kids who have been raised right. And then I have some friends who have some children who need their asses spanked for the most part. I don't believe in like beating the hell out of children, but man, if you do something that you shouldn't be doing, you're gonna remember why. Ain't happening. Dude, people just need to stop and make good decisions. Life isn't a conspiracy. Yeah, there's probably some shady shit going on. We know this. New York has always had corrupt cops. Hell, they're known for them. We need to be revamped. Most of these cops are not given psychological tests, and they work for the city or the county. They don't work for the state. The state has better criteria for what it takes for a cop to get into their academy. A lot of them fail those psychological tests, and they go work for places that don't require them. These behaviors against the public can be prevented wholly if you had some more rigorous standards for becoming a police officer within those areas. That's a problem. I would like to see changes there, because I don't want a cop that's a loose cannon. We can prevent these things from happening by not hiring people who have the signs of that kind of behavior. It's just, we need to watch who we're putting in office. Watch who you're voting for. Read about what they stand for. Some of them might be liberals but have more conservative views. I mean, everybody's doing something different. Find the one that speaks the truth to you. Don't allow people to feed you a line of BS. Ask questions. There's never anything wrong with asking questions, especially if you don't understand, because what that does is it shows interest. And people should never be offended by you asking questions. That means you're asking because you want to know something further. You've listened to what they had to say. That's called a conversation. We need to respect that. And oh my God, you ask a question now and somebody's jumping on you, like accusing you of stuff, and it's ridiculous. People drive me crazy. Don't share inappropriate, wrong information. If you have a question about the info, shoot me a message with the link. I'll read it. I'll let you know what I think. I'll go do some research on it. These people who are making these anti-vax videos and whatnot, the best thing to do is not share them. Because what that does is it gives them brownie points, honestly. It promotes them on YouTube. Don't share it. If you go watch the video, yeah, you can give it a view. Don't like it. Don't subscribe. Don't do anything with it. Because sharing it just makes it explode more. So the best thing to do is read it. Hell, I would screenshot it instead of sharing the link or anything, but Don't give it the attention that it's looking for. Because that Erin lady, she's writing a book, and that's what she's making her money on. And I shared the link to ZDoggMD's web page, his actual internet page, not on Facebook. The letters that he got from the employees who worked with her, and the stories behind her claims. And they're very interesting. And I know healthcare workers. So I believe what was written. You need to go check it out. I shared that link a few days ago. Yes, I'm eating my Sour Patch Kids. Please don't share that stuff. If you have any questions, ask. I will be happy to debunk, give credibility to, try to give an unbiased opinion. And if I have a bias, I'll let you know it. And that's when you know you're dealing with somebody, they let you know their bias before you start. I mean, do we need to start talking to people in conversation that way? Hey, I want to talk about this, but I want to let you know my bias first. So that way people aren't, offended or, whatever they want to claim after you have your conversation. Z-Dog had brought that up, and it's very, 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 very true. Is that what we're supposed to do now? I just can't on the social media, man. I went off today, and the girl's like, you're not being very nice. You're being a bitch. Well, yeah, I'm putting it to you the way you don't want to hear it. So, yeah, it's bitchy. I've tried to be nice, but when I see ignorance like that, I have no filter. Yes, vote for the candidate, not the party. Everybody is different. Listen to what they have to say. Just do the research, man. People need to really be active in their voting choices. You can punch in your zip code, and you can find out who the candidates are and who's running for what. Especially with the school board, folks. You really want to vote people in who are really for the school right now and for those kids. All the way down to the local level. Make the changes that need to happen. You have to get out and do this by voting and doing research and not voting down a straight ticket. Vote for the people. Encourage people who you think would be good candidates, even if they think they wouldn't. People can adapt and do awesome things in positions like that. And encourage people, support them. Don't beat them down when they have decisions or changes that they're making in their life and trying to do something positive and tell them that they can't do it. That's motivation for me to go, watch me. Oh, I will. So I'm going to clear off the bed of all these boxes, and I'm going to take a long ass nap. And I'll probably be up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Rose will not leave underneath my feet here. And then I'm going to open everything here. So I'll be working on this stuff. I ordered a webcam. Now I don't have a laptop. Great. But that'll be here. But if I'm doing it downstairs, well, I can hook it up to my old laptop and pray to God that it works. Until I have something. This is ridiculous. I'm so pissed off, Dell. Oh, I feel bad for the person on the other end of the phone tomorrow. So I'm going to go night-night. Don't think you're safe and have false senses of security with these medications, because they ain't going to save your life. It's just something that warrants investigation. So stay safe. Wear your mask. Jesus Christ, when you wear your mask and quit bitching, please.